So after leaving the Glenn H. Curtis Museum the first day, we ran into a guy in the parking lot that custom designs motorcycle maps, and he told us we had to run Route 54A that goes up along the Kuka Lake. And so the footage you're watching now is running on the west side of that lake. It goes up around, it splits into two, and we were going up around the top of it, coming back down before stopping at Seneca Lodge, which is where we spent the night before attempting to go to Watkins Glen, which was unfortunately closed. So on day 2, after getting breakfast at the Seneca Lodge, we headed east across the state of New York over to the Essex, New York ferry, which is what we are boarding here right now, and this takes you across Lake Champlain over to Charlotte, Vermont. This is about a 20-minute to a half-hour ferry ride. I think it was around $5 to ride it. Well, here we are on day 3, riding down Highway 93, which goes through the Franconia Notch. This is a stretch of mountains that just kind of towers above you. And the whole point of this trip was for me to see Flume Gorge, which is within Franconia Notch State Park. So about halfway down through this notch, we stopped, and that's where we hiked up through this Flume Gorge. Also located in this same Franconia Notch State Park is the Cannon Mountain Aerial Tramway that will take you to the top of Cannon Mountain. I believe it was $25 to ride that. It created some tremendous views riding up through there. It was really cloudy when we made it to the top, and some of the views were hindered a little bit, but still a really beautiful experience. So here we are at the start of the Acadia National Park. The views within this park are astounding, to say the least. Some of the mountain that you're looking at here on the right is just sticking right up out of the ground, right in your face. This whole park just feels like a totally different world. The weather did not cooperate the greatest. It's extremely cloudy here in the beginning, and as the day went on, we kept getting into a little bit more and more sprinkles, but you know, this park is still one of the most visited parks in the United States, and it's pretty easy to see why when you're there. The views are just out of this world. But one thing I would caution is, if you want to visit this park, is to really study a map before you go in. We wound up going into this somewhere along the halfway point of the loop, the outer loop for this park. And it got us all mixed up. We couldn't tell where we were going. And so the route you're looking at right now is actually us coming out of the park, unbeknownst to us. And so we wound up coming down. Now this view here is just really pretty, but we had to go out and down the road a little ways before we realized we made a mistake and had to backtrack back into the park. There's, I believe, about 3 different entrances. There's like a north end, a south end entrance, and then where we got in was somewhere, I believe it was on, I think it was on the east side of the park. And so it kind of put us on the loop about halfway around, and then the signage at that point was pretty unclear. So just a caution, if you want to do this, just make sure you pay attention to the maps and the signs on where you need to go. One thing I was unaware of in this park is a place called Thunder Hole, which I believe is somewhere in this vicinity we're riding past right here. And if you look this up on Google or YouTube, it's where the water just comes in here and thrashes against the rock, and it makes for some really beautiful waves, and really beautiful spot to check out. Well, even though the weather wasn't the greatest for us on this trip, I would highly recommend going to explore this park. It is $30 for a 7-day pass, We only got to spend a few hours here, but highly recommend going and planning to spend several days just exploring this park. There is a lot to see. Bar Harbor is a beautiful town. I think I would recommend renting bicycles or a scooter to navigate the town, as there was a pile of people walking on the sidewalks, crossing the streets. Just a lot of tourism happening around this area. People from all over the world are visiting here. So highly recommend, but there is a lot going on. I will be back. I will be riding back up here to do more exploring of this area. It is beautiful. And if you ever get a hankering to visit another country like Canada, that's just a neighbor to the north here, I discovered after getting back there is a ferry that will run you from Bar Harbor over to Yarmouth, Nova Scotia. It's about a 3.5 hour ferry ride. I would highly recommend checking that out, as I will be doing the same when I go back up, and most likely taking that ferry. Well, thanks for riding along as we explore some of the beauty this country has to offer. And I think St. Augustine said it best: "The world is a book, and those who do not travel read only one page." So get out there, explore more, and I'll catch you on the next one.